Thank you all for sending questions for the Tuesday Q&A. Remember, I do Q&As every Tuesday and Friday on this channel. If you have a question for me, description box down below with all the details on how you can send me in questions. Well, let's get started with this one. Travis Nelson asks, how did you get into the YWC? I saw a bunch of people talking about wrestling on YouTube, and I said to myself, like, hey, I can do this. I can get on camera, talk about wrestling for a bit. So I decided to do it, and that's how I got into the YWC. And what is your advice on how to make a good YouTube wrestling channel? Be consistent, be yourself. That's really like the best advice I could give you. The consistency thing is like, you know, I see a lot of people on here that just don't try. Like they literally don't try. You know, they put up one Raw review every once in a while, or they put up just Raw reviews and they don't do anything else. It's like, just be consistent. You know, the views, they're not going to come right away. Trust me, I know. The views don't come right away. But as long as you're consistent and people know that you're consistent, they see like, hey, you know what? This guy right here, he keeps uploading. He may not get shit for views, but this guy, he's trying his hardest. And some of his content ain't that bad. So really, to be honest, if you can make good content, you can be consistent, you know what you're talking about, and you're having fun doing it, that's how you can have a good wrestling channel here in the YWC. Largest85 asks, what happened to the new Nation of Domination angle with Kofi, Biggie, and Xavier Woods? Did WWE drop the ball on it because they don't know how to fucking book it? That's just the bottom line. They honestly did not know what to do with it. That was just a knee-jerk reaction because if you guys don't remember, the Atlantic Post made an article about WWE's racism, and then pretty much ever since that post, the WWE racism issue got onto a really, really high discussion point on a bunch of news and media and even on Twitter and stuff like that. So they kind of knee-jerk reacted by teasing us with this whole new nation crap, and then all of a sudden they just decided to drop it because they don't know what the hell to do with it. It's just the bottom line when it comes down to it. It's very sad. James says about us, Q&A question. Who do you think is getting more overhyped, Johnny Manziel or LeBron James? Now, James, I love you, dog. But LeBron James is not overhyped. If anything, LeBron James is overexposed. Because, see, the thing with overhyped is when you're hyping something too much and they don't live up to the expectations. You know, LeBron James, he's a two-time NBA champion, man. So, he's not overhyped. He's more overexposed. Now, Johnny Manziel, he's overhyped. Because this motherfucker, you know, he's not even the starter in Cleveland. Brian Hoyer's a starter in Cleveland. I mean, Blake Bortles might even get the job in Jacksonville. And if Teddy Bridgewater has one more good preseason game, I wouldn't be surprised if they pull the plug on Castle and they start Teddy Bridgewater. Just saying, you can't call LeBron James overhyped. It's more overexposed with LeBron James, but Johnny Manziel is definitely more overhyped if you want me to answer the question. But if it comes down to more overexposed, oh, definitely LeBron James. Like, you can't turn on SportsCenter without like a LeBron James update. I mean, they overexposed LeBron James so much, they made an app for him. They made the LeBron James app. Like, oh, get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? And what is your favorite music? Metal music. I like heavy metal. I know that sounds surprising, but I do like heavy metal. I like country to some degree, rap, hip-hop, R&B, whatever you want to call it, and alternative rock. Those are like the main go-to musics that I listen to. Country's every once in a while, though. Like, I can't listen to country like fucking straight, but every once in a while, if I'm feeling a country song, I'll listen to a country song. I have a little bit of redneck inside of me. Johnny Russo asks, I'm always talking about The Miz, but I want to know, what is your favorite Miz moment? When he won the United States title. That would be my favorite Miz moment. Or when he was a Calgary kid and he beat Eugene. Those would be my two favorite Miz moments for sure. Your second question is, where does season 1 of Boy Meets World rank on your list of favorite seasons? Favorite seasons of all time when it comes to TV shows or just Boy Meets World? Because really, to be honest, it doesn't rank high at all. I didn't really like season 1 of Boy Meets World. I loved Boy Meets World once they start entering the high school age, the young adult age. That's when I started to like Boy Meets World because that's when I really got into this show. That's when I was starting to relate to the characters more. And, you know, Boy Meets World, you know, when you're a little kid watching that, you get excited for life because you feel like your life is going to end up like Corey and Topanga. So it's just like, I like those seasons of Boy Meets World more than when they were little kids. So it doesn't really rank high at all. But it's an okay first season. It's definitely a good one for a great TV show, but I definitely wouldn't rank it high at all in my personal opinion. That's just me. Anyways, now let's get to the other questions. God, I forgot to scroll up a little bit. Hold up for a minute, guys. Hold up. I scroll up. There we go. Shore Horror asks, why do you do the Q&As twice a week? Why not just once a week? That'll stress you out less and you can focus on your studies and projects. I do the Q&As twice a week, so that way your questions are not outdated, Shore, because so many people ask me questions about, like, Hey, what did you think? What are your predictions for the SummerSlam 2014 match? Well, SummerSlam 2014 happened this past Sunday, and it's just like, I get questions that just get outdated throughout the week. Like a wrestling news comes out every single day. We all know this. Most of you guys follow the dirt sheets. So it's like, when people have questions about something that's newsworthy, and, I film the Q&A only once a week, and someone wants to know my questions about it because I probably didn't make a video about it because I didn't feel like it was that important for me to make a video about. People will ask me the question, and then it's like, well, it's been a week already. Who really cares about the news? You know what I'm saying? So, in all honesty, that's why I do twice a week Q&A, so my questions don't feel a little bit outdated. If I get a part-time job soon, which I'm looking to do, it might go down to once a week. It probably would. I would have to find a day where, it would work out well for my schedule. But maybe also I could do it where, I cut you guys down to one question every video, so that way you guys can have much more refresher questions to ask me every Q&A. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. And what did you think of when Punk got his head shaved and wore his mask? I thought it was dumb, mainly because I felt that really took away what was the Straight Edge Society and really ruined the Straight Edge Society as a whole. I mean, the thing that made the Straight Edge Society stood out and what made CM Punk stood out as a heel is that he did look like Jesus, and that the Straight Edge Society was like kind of like this like Christian cult type of thing, and you had to believe in it and all that stuff. And it was like once he had his head shaved, it almost felt like the whole Straight Edge Society, they were just giving up on it. So I didn't like it all that much, man. I didn't really care for it. Loner Low asked, what if Cena did to Brock what Brock did to him at SummerSlam at Night of Champions and beats Brock? I wouldn't be surprised, but a lot of the internet would explode and hate the WWE forever and be like, how dare you give Cena 16 title reigns? But for me, Lonely Low, just know I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. I talked about that in my John Cena Brock Lesnar video that I did for the SummerSlam match. I said I wouldn't be surprised if Cena beat him. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. So for me, you wouldn't get a big reaction out of me. I would be kind of be like, I expected it. But for the rest of the internet, oh, they'll be freaking blowing up, that's for sure. You also asked, what if at SummerSlam Cena beats Brock with the first AA? How much BS would that would have been? Would it really be BS, man? Because didn't he beat Brock Lesnar with one AA? At Extreme Rules 2012? Wouldn't be that much BS. Hell, man, if you look at Brock Lesnar, the dude, when he got punched in the face by Cain Velasquez, spun around like a fucking helicopter. So how is it not believable that Brock Lesnar could lose to one AA? I mean, look at how many superstars Cena has beaten with only one AA. I'm just saying, man, it wouldn't be BS whatsoever. It should be expected if John Cena hits that AA. Most likely the match could be over. So I wouldn't say it'd be much BS. It would kind of be like, here's a beast Brock Lesnar that you're trying to build up who survived the Tombstone pile driver at WrestleMania, but all of a sudden couldn't survive one AA. It'd be kind of BS to that extent, but at the same time, you should expect it already. If you see Cena hit one AA, it's the end of the line. Lino Gino asked, what did you think of when AJ Lee was on NXT in 2010 and 2011? I like that AJ Lee because I saw that this girl was a really good performer. I saw that this was a character that you could get behind, a babyface character where it's like, oh my God, she's a little underdog. You want to see her succeed. She's tinier than all the other divas. She can do moves that most of the other divas can't. This girl is going to succeed big time in the WWE. You want to see her succeed as a babyface, but instead, the WWE turned her heel and made her stupid psycho for whatever fucking reason. Yeah. But I did like that AJ Lee. AJ Lee from 2010 to 2011, I liked her a lot. I just don't like her character that she has now, and I kind of have lost interest in AJ Lee just in general because I feel like so many wrestling fans overrate her. It's just ridiculous. I mean, she's good. Like, don't get me wrong. AJ Lee is definitely a good worker in the ring. I'm not taking that away from her. But I'm just saying, like, they overrate her to the point where it's just like they put her on God status when it comes down to the greatest women wrestlers of all time. It's like, what the fuck? Seriously. Why does AJ skip down to the ring like a little 6-year-old girl? Because of WWE, when you turn heel as a diva and you're psycho, you have to skip. I don't know. I really don't know why they make her do that. I don't know if that's AJ Lee's paying homage to Mickie James' psycho character, because when she turned heel, I just don't know. I really can't tell you, man, because I don't know why they make all their heel divas skip, but hey, I guess it's the thing in the WWE. Final Limits asks, do you think people should shut the fuck up with the CM Punk chants towards AJ since she is married to him and it's disrespectful? Yeah, they should stop. I mean, really, to be honest, you should be chanting towards AJ Lee. You shouldn't be chanting for her fucking husband. Her husband's not there, guys. Get over it. Like, I swear, man, like, I bet you most of the IWC, like, if AJ Lee came knocking to their door, they would just be like, oh my God, it's AJ. They would be freaking out, right? And then all of a sudden, if CM Punk was right behind her, they would push AJ Lee to the side and go and hug CM Punk. Like, I miss you so much. Like, it's just like, you know, especially for AJ Lee, who I'm on good authority, whether it's her or Paige. I don't know which one's the number one right now in the IWC, but I'm on good authority that AJ is probably the most popular diva in the IWC. Like, she's the main woman in the IWC that the IWC loves so much. So it's like, if she's the number one diva that you guys are supposed to love, why don't you guys champ for her? Why don't you guys support her? Why do you care about her husband who left you guys? He decided to leave. He's not here entertaining you guys. AJ Lee's still around entertaining you guys, but you want to champ for her husband who left? Seriously, guys. Stop. Just champ for AJ Lee. Support AJ Lee. Show her love. Because I believe she is the number one diva in the IWC. I'm not 100% sure. Could be Paige. Paige could have overtaken her. Who knows? But you never know with the IWC. No, normally they don't know what they want. But yeah, just support AJ Lee, guys. Stop chanting for CM Punk. And what does she think when people chant CM Punk at her? What do you think goes on inside her head at the moment? You can definitely tell that she knows that it's going on, but she's a professional, so she probably says to herself, you know, hey, you know, these people are chanting for my husband, but I got a job to do. I got to cut this promo on Paige, so I'm just gonna go do it. So she's very professional. She doesn't let the chants, you know, stir her up a little bit. You can definitely see that when she has done her promos with Paige and the fans have chanted CM Punk. So yeah, I don't think she really cares all that much. I think the only time where she really has gotten like annoyed with the CM Punk chants was like the Raw after WrestleMania. You can tell by her face, she was like, really? You all chanting for him when I'm cutting this awesome promo right now? Like, get the fuck out of here. But in all honesty, that's like a question you would have to ask for AJ Lee. Me assuming what AJ Lee thinks inside her head, man, I don't know, that's hard. But just by facial expressions, you can kind of tell that she is a little bit annoyed by it, but she's a professional, so she can handle it. Bubblegum Flavor Sarah's asked, what if AJ walked out like Punk did? Would suck. You would lose one of your divas that can actually wrestle. That's for sure. I guess Paige would just have to like dominate the Divas division until they actually do shit with Charlotte Flair. I don't think the Divas division would be as hurt if AJ Lee walked away. You know, yeah, you'd be missing her star power, but there's a lot of really good divas right now in the WWE. I feel like the WWE has a good crop of divas that they could easily replace an AJ Lee walking out of them. It's like the WWE, when CM Punk walked out of them, that's losing one of your like top three guys. Like, it's like Cena, Bryan, and CM Punk, and you lose a top three guy. And at the time, CM Punk was considered the number two babyface. So it's like, oh shit. Now we just have Cena, who's our number one babyface, who doesn't really get babyface reactions. Like with AJ Lee, it's like, oh, AJ Lee walks out. All right, Natalia, go get him. So it's not really would that be big of a deal. And I don't think wrestling, you know, a lot of wrestling fans would miss her, but I don't think the WWE would be hurting that much if AJ Lee walked out on the WWE. And is Punk done with wrestling, good or no? Or no? In ring wise, he could be done. Outside doing other stuff, like maybe accepting a Hall of Fame one day. Yeah, I don't think he's done. So, you know, it all depends. I don't know CM Punk personally. I always say never in the wrestling business. That anything can happen at any time. That's what makes wrestling an awesome sport to watch. So I wouldn't be surprised in a couple of years if CM Punk comes back. But if he's done, he's done. And I'll miss it. I miss the guy. You know, I was a huge CM Punk fan. But, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. Pelto Nilton asks, why do you always botch my name? Because it's hard to read. Being honest here. And where is the proof that you met Randy Orton in 2007? Where is the pic or autograph? Unless you lied, of course. I didn't lie. I don't even think I said in the last video that I got his autograph or picture. I shook his hand. I talked to him for a little bit. Honestly, man, that's it. If you want to believe me, go right ahead. If you don't want to believe me, that's fine. I don't know why you would waste a Q&A question on that, though. Just saying, man, like, oh, where's the proof of a Randy Orton picture? It's like, I don't have one. I didn't take a picture with the dude. I shook his hand. He didn't want to take a picture with me. I asked for a picture. He's like, oh, no, I'm busy. That's how wrestlers are. If you ever meet a wrestler in person, unless they're like really starting out in the business, they'll take your picture at any time because more exposure for them, and they show that, hey, we're good with the fans. But once you start getting higher up on the card, sometimes you don't want to take pictures, man. Yeah, but I met him. It was pretty cool. Didn't talk to him for that long. It was probably like just like a 2 minute conversation, if anything. It was just like, I like you, and then all that other crap. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Jack the Talking Dildo asks, do you have WWE Network? And if so, where do you watch it at? Yes, I do have the WWE Network. Sometimes I watch it on my desktop, and sometimes I watch it on my Xbox. Did you know that Canada, that the network is a $12 and is an actual network, not on computer or site? Yeah, I've seen pictures of it. Sucks for you guys. It looks like the on-demand service is really, really hard. I don't know if you're from Canada, Jack Talking Dildo, but sucks for you, man, if you have that. Just being honest here. So yeah. Little Fish asks, top 5 GTA protagonists and why? Really? A top Little Fish, come on, man. Did you hear my other Q&As? No tops in the Q&As. Ah, because then it stalls the Q&A and I waste my... Come on, man. Listen next time. All right, fine. Top 5 protagonists in GTA 5. Number 5, Trevor. Number 4, CJ. Number 3, Claude. I'm drawing a blank on fucking GTA 3's main character. Number 2, Nico Bellic. And number 1, Johnny Vincent. Those would be the top 5 GTA protagonists. Trevor at 5 because he's entertaining. CJ at 4 because he is a good protagonist, but he has a lot of flaws to him. 3, Claude, just because he was an awesome silent character for you to play as. 2, Nico Bellic, because I found his story really, really good and a lot of interactions that you can do with your character. And Johnny Vincent, he's like that one GTA character you all want to be. So there's my top 5 GTA protagonists. And top 5 worst GTA 5 characters. Tracy, because all she does is fucking annoy you and call you about stupid shit. Ron, because he does the same shit as Tracy. That Oscar guy for the Painter plane missions, I can't remember what they were for. You know, you're stealing drugs or something like that with Trevor. I know you have to buy the Hainer. It makes you a lot of money, but it's really annoying when Oscar has to tell you to do this stupid shit last minute. Hey, Oscar, you didn't tell me I have to fucking fly low. Oh, yeah, sorry, Holmes. It's like, god damn, fuck you, Oscar. I would say Madrazo's a pretty bad GTA 5 character. I mean, really, to be honest, after, like, you repay him, like, after you kidnap his wife and you bring her back and stuff, it's like he kind of just disappears. You don't really do anything with Madrazo whatsoever. There's, like, no payoff with this guy. So, yeah, I would say Madrazo's a pretty bad character. He just felt useless. Like, you know, there was a lot of potential with him. I mean, you break his house and all that other crap, and then, like, all of a sudden you just pay him back, he's cool with you, and then all of a sudden you do a job for him again, he's cool with you again. It's just kind of like, you know, there was no payoff. It's like you don't even kill this guy at the end. He just kind of lives and there's nothing else to it. So yeah, I would say Madrazo. And Amanda. Because Amanda doesn't do shit, just like Tracy. So those would be the 5 worst GTA 5 characters. Nintendo Fanboy 1998 asks, why were you putting eye drops in your last Q&A video? Why don't you just wear normal eyeglasses? I don't have eyeglasses, and I wear contacts, and when the wind is going crazy in California, my eyes dry up, and so that's why I was putting in eye contacts. When was the last time you weighed yourself, and how much do you weigh now, and how tall are you, my good man? I'm 5'9". I think I've stated that like hundreds of times on my channel. But yes, I'm 5'9", and I weigh currently, last time I weighed myself was 2 weeks ago, and then I was 219. So probably right now I'm walking at 223 just because I just ate dinner and stuff. So yeah, probably 223 pounds is what I'm weighing at right now. John Kunt asks, Q&A, what if Cena came out to a chorus of boos, couldn't handle them anymore, and ran out of the ring pissed off on a live show? How would you react? I would say, fucking A, finally this guy shows some personality. He's actually a human. He's not a robot. He can actually freak out. I'd be so happy. I would say that would be the best thing that would happen for John Cena in his whole damn career at this point. Hell yeah. I'd fucking be happy about that. That would be one of the best things I've seen in wrestling, for sure. Dave Lester asks, if you could create any match type, what match would it be, would you create? A stupid match. So it would be called the Demon's Playground match. It would be a Hell in a Cell, and then inside of it would be a steel cage. And the way you win this match is you have to climb a fucking 20-foot ladder onto the top of the Hell in a Cell, and then drop off the Hell in a Cell. That would be my match. It would be called the Demon's Playground match. Yeah, I thought about this sometimes. I actually thought that was a good idea when I was like 12 years old. Thoughts on HBK versus Ric Flair at WrestleMania 24? Great storytelling match. One of the best WrestleMania matches you will see, especially in the modern era of WrestleMania. Great match. Should have main evented WrestleMania 24. Mr. Wilstro asked, will there ever be a women's world champion in a major wrestling company? No. I don't see the point in giving a woman a world heavyweight championship. You know, independent scene, sure, but like the world title, really? And it's nothing against women. I'm not saying the women are not as strong as the men or anything. It's just that that's the world heavyweight championship. And you're going to give it to a woman. Heavyweight. That's the key word that you have to look in there. I think a lot of people don't look at that word that much. Heavyweight. No, man, I don't think that'll ever happen. And should Santino have won the 2011 Royal Rumble? Yes, he should have, because, hell, if anything, Alberto Del Rio didn't win the world title anyway, so why not give it to Santino? Why not? Mr. Wilster also asked if you could admit. Oh, whoops, sorry. I guess I read ahead of the questions. Oh, you asked 3 questions, Mr. Wilstro. Tricky bastard. Two. Come on, Mr. Wilstro. So Suk Azen asked, what are your favorite games that came out this year? Watch Dogs? I think that's like my only favorite game that came out this year. Yeah, Watch Dogs. I don't even think it was that great of a game, but it was my favorite for sure. And your next question is, in your opinion, who was the funniest heel ever? Ooh. It's either Bobby the Brain or Owen Hart for me. They were just entertaining and really funny for a long, long period. Bobby the Brain for sure, but probably Bobby the Brain or Owen Hart. Those would be the 2 funniest heels in my opinion. Redwolf316 asks, what are 3 comic book superheroes you would love to see have their own movie? I always felt Shazam, aka Captain Marvel, should have gotten a movie. Looks like he may be getting a movie soon. I'm not 100% sure on that. But Shazam is definitely up there. You know, Flash should get his own movie, like a legit Flash movie, not the shit that we saw in the 70s, but a legit Flash movie. That'd be pretty cool. Deadpool is always a popular answer to say, hey, Deadpool. I mean, Deadpool's funny. It could work. I think a Deadpool movie would be great for films. So, in all honesty, those would be the 3 that come into mind. You know, there's others, but more of like remakes, like Fantastic Four should get their own remake, which they are. Green Lantern should get a remake, hopefully, because that first Green Lantern was bad. It was bad. Daredevil should get a remake, because that was a bad movie. So yeah, I would definitely say that like there's a lot of superheroes that deserve remakes. It's really hard to think of 3 off the top of your head that deserve, you know, their own movies. You know, not a lot of superheroes are interesting. That's just a fact. Like a lot of them are kind of boring, don't have good origins whatsoever. You also asked, do you wish Kane had a good lengthy title reign as WWF champion back in the Attitude Era, especially in 1998? No. And here's why. Because Kane wasn't the hot guy, nor was he the #1 heel at that time. Austin was the #1 face, and Vince McMahon was the #1 heel. And Kane, if anything, if you looked at the heel ladder, he was probably like #3 or #4. I mean, if you gave Kane the world title for a long time, yeah, it would have made his career look good. Yeah, he would look like a beast, but in all honesty, it's just like, really, Kane? I mean, what is he going to do after that long world title run? Who is he going to drop it to? Like, you know, were you going to have him drop it to The Undertaker, or were you going to have the Brock as a babyface beat him for it, you know? So, really, to be honest, it's good that Kane didn't have a long title run. And in all honesty, what made Kane, and so many people love Kane so much, and a lot of people Kane fans, was the fact that he only had a one-day title run. A lot of people were like, man, dude, I feel bad for Kane. I wish Kane would have gotten a longer run. And, you know, you waited so many years until he finally got that longer run. And, yeah. So in all honesty, I don't think a long title run for Kane back into Attitude Era would have really benefited his career. That's just me. The Gochi Man asked, who was the scariest wrestler you saw when you were a kid? Undertaker. For sure it was Undertaker. I was like fucking scared shitless of Undertaker back then. His theme music scared me. Mankind scared me. And Kane didn't really scare me. I never got scared of Kane. I don't know why. I never really did. But Mankind and Undertaker would be the 2 scariest wrestlers for me. The Gochi Man asked, what did you think of JBL's 9-month title reign? It was a good heel title reign. You know, that's a heel title reign that you could be proud of on a SmackDown, man. Like that's perfect SmackDown booking right there. That's what made SmackDown such a great fucking brand. You could have a dude like JBL win your most prestigious title, defend it in a good 9-month stretch, be a good heel that you want to pay to see. Because see, the thing with JBL is, yeah, he won in a coward chicken shit way almost every time. But here's the thing about JBL. The dude could talk. That's the thing. He could actually talk. He could actually make you want to pay to see him get his ass kicked. That's what made JBL's 9-month title reign a great title reign. And then you see what happened there. He dropped it to the right guy in John Cena. Whether you guys like it or not, John Cena was the right guy at the time. So yeah, it was a great heel title reign. That's something that WWE should utilize. I always said Bo Dallas. You look at Bo Dallas now, that's him in the future. Look at his NXT title reign and how great that shit was. He's gonna do that with the world title one day. And I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, "Oh, Chase, that's just terrible." But no, it will be good. That's a way to build a great babyface for them to finally beat up the long reigning heel champion by hook or by crook. So yeah, I liked it. Joe Juicy asked, what if Scott Steiner came back to the WWE as a heel commentator and would bury all the mid-card wrestlers on commentary, but praise guys like Triple H, John Cena, Randy Orton, and Dave Bautista? It'd be entertaining for sure, but I don't even think he would praise John Cena, Randy Orton, Triple H, or Batista. Scott Steiner praising someone is calling them dumbasses. That's a praise by Scott Steiner, so it'll just be funny as hell. Here comes that dumbass Triple H. I'm sorry, the man Triple H. Like, he was just, it would be amazing. Great shit by Scott Steiner. God, I love when you guys ask me Scott Steiner questions. Greg Toomer asked, what would your reaction be if you were at Over the Edge 1999 live and you saw Owen Hart fall from the rafters? Let's see. I'd be a little kid. I'd be confused what the fuck is going on. I would ask my dad, what went on. And then probably my dad would have taken me out of the arena. That's just the bottom line. I don't know what my reaction would be because I would think it was actually part of the show. I would actually think that was supposed to happen because I was a little kid at the time. 21-year-old me, I'd kind of be disgusted and I would walk out of the arena immediately. Jake Loomis asked, what are some of your favorite cruiserweight matches? Favorite cruiserweight matches? Ray and Eddie, Dean and Jericho. ECW never really had a cruiserweight division, but Tajiri and Super Crazy, whenever they went at it, was good stuff, along with Little Guido. So those would be some of my favorite cruiserweight matches. Jake Loomis also asked, what should John Cena's career be like if he had stayed as the doctor of thugonomics? Really, to be honest, he would still be the same, except not as many title reigns. I think he would change it up a bit. He definitely would have been a heel a lot more often, that's for sure. I think he would probably only have like 4 world title reigns. Yeah, that would be a fair estimate. Yeah, he would still have a good career. He would still be around in the WWE, but he wouldn't be... I would say he would be a guy for the company. Like, he would be the guy for the company for like probably like a 3-year stretch. But then afterwards, he would just kind of be there to help produce the younger talent and put over the younger talent. So if he was still the doctor of thugonomics, he wouldn't have the huge success that he has now, but he definitely would still be successful. John Cool asked, what did you think of Vampiro? I didn't really get into Vampiro, in all honesty. That's just it. I don't know how to answer it, man. I just didn't really care about him all that much. Sorry. And Joe Juicy. Did Joe Juicy ask more questions? Oh, I guess he separated them. How do you think Rusev would have done if he was a wrestler during the 80s? Very good. He definitely would be considered one of the better wrestlers in the 80s. I mean, if you look at Rusev's moveset, it's more advanced than half the wrestlers back in the 80s. So he'd definitely be considered a really great wrestler in the 80s. Him and Lana would be a great heel gimmick, just a job to Hulk Hogan, brother. So yeah, very good. Mr. Juicy asked, why does Strug Daddy have to downgrade or call a good match stupid because of a finish? Because, Mr. Juicy, the whole point of the match is tell the story to the fucking finish. That's the whole point. If you're telling one story and then you end the match in a different 180 type of way from the story that you were trying to tell during the whole match, then what was the point of me sitting there for 15 fucking minutes that the finish sucks? A finish is just as important as the fucking beginning, man. It's like you're telling a story. It's like when you're writing a paper. Say if you're writing a fucking paper, man. You're writing a paper, right? All right, your paper is about gun control, okay? You write your paper, and you're writing about the gun control, and you're doing well, but then all of a sudden, the last paragraph you talk about gay marriage. What does gay marriage have to do with the gun control policy? That's the thing. If you're telling a story in the match, and then you go 180 and you end it in a stupid-ass way, how can you say the match is good? Because you pretty much wasted that fucking story just to end the match in a stupid-ass way. So yeah, that's why Slug Daddy calls a good match stupid if the finish is dumb. Because what was the point of telling that story in the middle of the ring if you were going to finish with that story you were telling? That's just the bottom line. Like I said, it's like if you're writing a paper, would it make sense for you to talk about the gun control and then your last paragraph be all about the gay marriage? Or if you're reading a book It's about these teenagers going to the fucking beach and having a beach time, and then all of a sudden they end the story in the fucking woods. How would that make any sense whatsoever? You know, I think sometimes some wrestling fans, they need to understand the art of storytelling. Yeah, it's cool if the guys can go out there and do a bunch of flips and kicks, but shit, man, if your story's whack and, you know, you don't end the way to tell the proper story of the match that you were trying to build, what's the point? You just wasted your time and mine. So yeah, that's why Shug Daddy calls a good match stupid with the dumb finish. Because what's the point of wasting our time telling this story if you're not going to finish it the right way? That's just the bottom line. Finishes are important in matches. Josh Chambers asks, if Hulk Hogan was in good shape and could wrestle with minor problems for his age, then we could have seen TNA putting the TNA World Heavyweight Championship on him? Yeah. I joked around back when I was reviewing TNA when Bully Ray was champion that was going to be Hulk Hogan versus Bully Ray for the title. So yeah, I could see that happening. And Josh Chambers also asked, if TNA is still around for a few years and Jeff Jarrett's promotion finally gets a TV deal, could we see a Global Force Wrestling competing with TNA? Yeah, we could definitely see that. Depends on the network TNA's on, but yeah, we could definitely see, you know, a Global Force versus TNA type of deal. That's good. I'm glad that you're smart, Josh Chambers. You're not saying Global Force Wrestling competing with the WWE. Very good of you. But yeah, they could compete with the TNA for sure. Especially because I think they'll get a lot of guys, you know, who used to be under the TNA name. So yeah, it would definitely be really good. The Real Heel asks, could you see Ronda Rousey becoming a diva wrestler for the WWE? And how do you think the WWE would present her if she was hired? Yeah, I could see it. How would they present her? Like a monster like she is in the UFC? They would make her like the realest diva in the world. Like, look at what Paige did as the anti-diva. That's what Ronda Rousey would do. But she would be really legit about it. Like hardcore, no edge, no bullshit, no one's gonna push her around type of deal. The Real Hill also asks, if Raw went 4 hours one day, how hard would it be for you to get through this show? Oh god. If Raw was 4 hours, I wouldn't know. They would have to give a good reason why it's 4 hours. But if it was 4 hours, oh, unless you're putting on some great fucking matches and you have a huge match that's going to last 1 hour that's going to be as good as Cena versus Michaels, heaven forbid, you should not have a Raw that's 4 hours. Jay Walker asks, what would you think of having an evil clown gimmick in WWE? I don't know, ask Doink the Clown. Sorry, man, I had to. It would be good because it would actually be a character that the WWE is lacking nowadays. They lack a bunch of fucking characters. That's just the bottom line. So yeah, it'd be good. I don't know how they would pull it off, in all honesty. I mean, he wouldn't be that evil. He would kind of be like those nice clowns. It'd be good, but I don't think the WWE would be able to pull it off, man. Reed19 asks, what if John Cena squashes Brock Lesnar in 1 minute at Night of Champions? I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said earlier, just wouldn't be surprised. And what if Scott Steiner made his own rap album like Randy Savage did? You would be this. If you live in the California area, I would be like the only motherfucker sleeping outside of Best Buy to fucking buy that shit. Or I'll download that in a heartbeat. Oh, that's a good one. Mr. TNA 2005 asks, I do not think many people realize how bad Raw has become in the recent years. What would you tell to those who have not watched before 2004 and how it is now? Oh, God. Oh, have not watched before 2004. Wait, what would you tell those who have not watched before 2004 and how it is now? To those that didn't watch before, you're asking for people who have not watched, who started watching wrestling past 2004, right? To those who have not watched before 2004, I'll tell them to go fucking do their research. And if anyone thinks like the Raws that we're getting were like at high standards, like shit, man, 2004 had so much better Raws than some of the crap we have now. Hell, I can even say like 2005 and 2006, there would be boring Raws, but at least they were so much better than the Raws that we were getting now. The Raws that we've been getting since, like, I would say 2011 to now, it's just been so inconsistent. Like, you'll get one great episode of Monday Night Raw, and then afterwards it'll be kind of like, okay, a mediocre episode. And then it's just like bad, 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 bad. Oh, there's a good episode. Bad, 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 bad. Good. Bad, 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 bad. Good. that's pretty much the consistent pattern of Monday Night Raw, man. It's just like, oh, it's all hard. So like, um, I'd definitely tell people to go watch some old Raws back in the day. Kind of understand why a lot of us wrestling fans are so anal about stuff. It'll definitely make people who watch my videos a lot more knowledgeable, that's for sure. And did you see the match of the year of 2014, AJ Styles versus Minoru Suzuki at New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax? And if you did, what did you think of it? I haven't seen that yet. I only saw that one AJ Styles match that he had at G1 on day one. I'm not a big New Japan guy. I hate to say it, but I'm not. I don't like the Japanese style and all that much. That's just my personal opinion. Uh, I haven't watched it yet, but I'll definitely will check it out if you can send me a link to it. I believe that was at day 4. Not 100% sure, man. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big New Japan guy. I watched the one match that he had with Okada. I thought that was pretty good. Um, but that was really the only AJ Styles match that I watched was him versus Okada. But if this one against, whoever you just named, I just forgot the name, is good, then show me and I'll check it out because AJ Styles is one of my favorites. Anyways, thank you guys for sending in your questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, guys, you can send in your questions via the description box down below with all the details on how to do so. Make sure you guys also follow me on Twitter at ChaseDollar68. Check out my website. Check out my Raw review. I'll see you all next time. Peace.